Well, man, again, the year flies by. We're already into September with this devotional. We've been through our conference. We've recapped that, and we're still kind of enjoying the fellowship that we shared with those folks that came out here. We're looking forward to future times together. Um, but I want you to just take a moment and think of something. There's an interesting quote that I read recently. It just kind of stimulated my thinking. It's by Voltaire, which he said this: those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Now, that seems pretty obvious, I would say, but I want you to think of all the harm that's been done basically by people that thought they had a good idea. I don't believe that, I know there's been a great deal of written about Karl Marx, and his abandonment of his Christian faith and his turn towards darkness. I'm not denying any of that, but I don't by any stretch of the imagination believe that he meant to be the one known for the destruction of close to 100 million people in between Russia and China. I can't imagine he would have wanted that. But yet, I'm assuming that he felt that his philosophy was a good philosophy, that not only a life could be based upon, but that governments could be based upon, uh, as have been many other belief systems, whether it be those under Adolf Hitler or whether it be those during the time of Christ, the Caesars. It doesn't matter. Um, but basically, it's all kind of formed on this one element that Psalm 14:1 brings up. The fool has said in his heart that there is no God, which only leaves us to be the molders of our world. Now, I think we're seeing a great deal of confusion in our world today because of people who have no relationship to their Creator, thinking that they can make the world whatever they want it to be, whether it be that they're going to have the answer for quote unquote global warming, which, by the way, just a few decades ago, it was quote unquote global freezing. We were going to go through a tremendous ice age again. But over and over again, we have people that feel like they have the answer for all these things. And certainly as man continues to develop his capacity and add to that which he has come to know, we'll see more and more complex systems created. But almost without exception, the end result of every one of those systems is somewhat destructive. There's always a downside to everything. But think about this for a moment, because Jesus Christ tells us that in knowing Him, there is a understanding of the world around us that the world just simply couldn't know. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 9 and on through 16. There's this relationship we have with Him through the Spirit that the natural person will never come to understand. And our behavior absolutely changes because of our relationship to the one who created all things. I find it interesting that when Job finally ends all conversation, God shows up and he basically asks about 70 rhetorical questions. Were you there when I laid out the foundations? When I measured out the universe? He talks about, can you? Speaking of the creation of the Leviathan, or can you control, or, just a whole host of things. There's so many complex issues that are so far beyond all of us, and there's no person on this earth that will be able to understand, or how can I say it, figure it out in such a way as to benefit all people. It never has been, and it never will be. Not until the one who is the beginning and the end, the creator of all things, the one who has all knowledge and has all understanding, not until he shows up. This is why for you and I, folks, I know it can be a little frustrating living in the world that we're in. Just today there was the murder of innocent children in a Catholic school in Minnesota for what reason? What did this person believe that allowed him to think that the taking of a child's life is warranted? You can say, well, they were mentally ill. I don't deny that. But mental illness begins with being divorced, literally, from our Creator. I'm not here to figure all that out. I'm certainly not a psychologist. But everything spins out of this distance between us and our God. And it always ends up. And certainly we'll see this more clearly in eternity. It will always end up in harm, whether it be temporal harm or eternal harm. And that's why it's important for you and I, those who know the Lord, who have the Spirit of God within us, who fellowship with Him, who have tasted of the good things of God. We have the Spirit to live out our life, not overwhelmed, because we understand that our God has these things under His control. That it's a fool who says that He doesn't. The epitome of that will be the Antichrist. But He certainly is working all things out. And in terms of our life, we know that He's working it in a way that allows us to know Him in a more deep and personal way than we've ever known Him before. There's a lot I don't understand. I'm sure there's a lot you don't understand. There's a lot that I worry about concerning my grandkids and my family, my children, but when it's all said and done, we all have to come to this one place where we who know the Lord can rest in Him. There is a rest, it says in Hebrews chapter 4, for the people of God. We can find that rest because we know the one who is the beginning and is the end. Till next time, friends, God bless you.